It's time for a chocolate and coffee break. So grab your cuppa and let's listen together to stories from people of all walks of life that will touch your heart and reveal that opposites are the same. I'm your host, Andrea Putting, and this is Chocolate and Coffee Breaks, where we bring people together in the spirit of love and acceptance. Welcome to Chocolate and Coffee Breaks. And today my guest is Catalina Gonzalez. And Catalina is a happiness ambassador who helps seniors and people with mixed abilities to shine through dance and cultural entertainment, which sounds pretty awesome. I really love that idea of what you're doing because it sounds like fun, which I like something that sounds like fun. Well, this is our chocolate and coffee break. So I've got some chocolate today and I've got lemon myrtle, Kakadu plum and almonds from the Kakadu Plum Company. And I'm really excited about trying this chocolate because it has Australian native stuff on it and it looks really awesome. I just had a piece and it was yummy. Looks really good. What kind of chocolate have you got today?
I love dark chocolate. So
Mhm.
this is a veggie dark chocolate, and it's got blueberries, raspberries, and nuts in it. It's amazing. It's a vegan chocolate, and I'm very sneaky, and I have actually two. So I have dark chocolate coated blueberries and goji berries. They're amazing. Really.
I love someone who's got a supply of chocolate happening. That's great. I always like to have a bit of chocolate because you never know when you're going to have a nice conversation, and a piece of chocolate is a great way to start a conversation.
Totally agree.
So let's start with a nice, easy question with you, Catalina, which I pulled out of my box of, I haven't got good lighting today, my box for chocolate and coffee breaks. And the question I have is, what is the best thing about you? I'm sure there's lots of really good things about you.
I'm gonna go with my vivacious energy. So, through time, people have been telling me that I have this energy that makes people want to come and talk to me and dance with me and engage with me and talk to me. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with my vivacious energy.
Well, I've really picked that up because when I saw you for the first time the other night, we were both on a Zoom meeting together, and that was really what I picked up from you, is that energy, and you vibrate this happiness energy that you talk about. So that's awesome. It's really good when people have what they say. You see it in them, which is awesome.
Thank you.
So, Catalina, I'd like to ask you a little bit about your background, because clearly you weren't brought up in Australia. So, what is your background?
I am originally from Colombia, from Medellin, Colombia.
Wow. What brought you to Australia then, from being from Colombia?
I came to Australia 11 years ago. I was living in Colombia and working as you doing marketing for engineering companies.
Hmm.
I had a full-time job, and I was stuck to a computer all day, every day, and I realized that that wasn't the life that I wanted to live. So I originally came to Australia looking for a break, and that break has taken 11 years. It was a little bit longer than I expected. It was meant to be just for 6 months, then it turned to 1 year, and then the rest is history. Yeah.
So clearly, this is somewhere you like to be.
Definitely. It was love at first sight. I felt at home straight away. Like a lot of people who migrate from Colombia, Latin American countries, or other countries, some people don't adapt quite easily because of differences. But for me, I adapted straight away. It was a really strange feeling. I felt at home straight away.
So what has been your experience of being an immigrant into this culture?
It's been really good. Um, I believe that I kind of found my place in Australia. So since I arrived, like everything was new. So I came looking for a new experience. Everything was new. So I was just like a little kid, like I had the innocence of a child, just like going into, oh, that's nice, let's try this, let's try that, let's talk to this person, let's talk to this another person. So I took this as a discovery adventure. I didn't know anything about the country. I didn't know anything about the city. I didn't know how cold it was. I didn't even know you could go to the beach by just taking a tram. Like, that's how ignorant I was. Because I didn't want to know. Like, I came here to kind of like for a rebirth. So I found my space. So I was always seeking for things that I wanted to do. So I came to study tourism. So I had the best time studying tourism, and then I found a job in a hotel, which I've always wanted. And then I ended up being a dance teacher, which I've always wanted. So I've been kind of looking for that place where I could belong and that I feel comfortable and at home. So that has been my experience so far.
Fantastic. So you found that people generally accepting of who you are?
I believe so, and I think it's more a matter of the environments that I choose to involve myself in.
Hmm.
So I belong to lots of dancing communities, Latin dancing communities, and they actually love the fact that I came from there, that I speak the language, that I know how to pronounce the words. Uh,
Yeah,
so yeah,
we're not good at second languages in this country.
I know, especially the one that I found most curious is the word paella. Do you know what paella is?
No.
You know the Spanish dish with the big plate? That and it's
Ayala.
exactly. So when I tell people that the actual way to say that is paella, then people are like, no, it's not paella.
Well, then I'm going to have to be corrected and try to pronounce it correctly in the future.
Oh, look, it's okay. I just like teaching and I like when people try new things. And I always teach people also how to roll the R's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's been a matter of like I chose environments where I feel at home and I feel safe. Yeah, and I think that's what has helped me so far. So there are environments that I kind of not avoid, but I choose not to go there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. What are some of the things that help you to feel like you belong in a community?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the fact that people are receptive to like to who I am, and it's me, the entire me, with my accent, with my humor, which can be interesting sometimes, with me being childish, with me being different. Um, I think it's that, like finding communities where they accept me for who I am, and communities that are open to learn, open to embrace new cultures, new languages, new differences.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That would have been fairly close to what I how I would sum it up. So it's really nice to hear it from somebody else's perspective that's the same kind of things that are important. So what do you find is what is those things, those cultural things that you bring with you from your background that you would like to be able to share with the community that you now live in?
I've been really lucky because I've had the opportunity to share them, I think, pretty much from day one. So one of them is dancing. So I love dancing. I've danced since I was little. And here I found the opportunity to teach how to dance. So, in teaching how to dance, and I can teach people about movements, about the history of the dances, the history of the costumes, the history of the flowers. And I'm always wearing my flower on my head because it's kind of part of who I am. And then with the dance teaching, it comes the music, all the beautiful sounds and the beautiful instruments that each instrument, each sound, they all have history. So I'm able to share that. Of course, the food.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, so I'm not the best cook, but I'm really good at taking things out of a package. And lucky
That,
me,
that takes talent.
lucky me, we have lots of Latin American entrepreneurs that bring lots of yummy things and they cook yummy things that you can just heat up. So I'm always inviting my friends either in my house to have our coffee, to have arepas, or also to go with me to Latin American restaurants. So I feel a full ambassador of my culture and of my country and of my heritage. So much so that I created a social enterprise around it.
Yes. Tell me about that. I'd love to hear about that because that's part of my passion.
Yes, so I created a social enterprise called Mosaic Experiences with my co founder and co director, Karina. We met at a festival and we had a conversation, and we realized that we both had a purpose of using our culture to bring communities together and to inspire a sense of community and belonging.
Fantastic. So we're right in the same field here.
Exactly. So we create interactive experiences because what we found is that people in Australia are very used to just watch. So if you
Yeah.
go to a festival, if you go to an event, all you can see is everyone with their phones just recording, or maybe like the maximum they can just. And then what we do is that we actually grab them, we get them wear the flowers, we get them to wear the skirts. We get them singing with us and saying un, dos, tres, cuatro, derecha, izquierda, arriba, abajo. And we get them moving because one thing is to actually see something, a different thing is to experience and actually get involved in it. So we use different elements: dance, music, arts and crafts, food, and language. And we're focused at the moment on all the creating experiences for all the adults and people with disabilities. And our team is, we are all migrants, most of us from Latin America, but we're now starting to recruit people from different countries. So it's an authentic experience what we offer. So we have someone who is an ambassador of their own country and their own culture to actually bring the experience the way that we live it there, we bring it here.
That's wonderful. I love that. That's awesome. That's really, yeah, something that I think is really an important aspect and really to the core of what chocolate and coffee breaks is all about understanding and experiencing other people's cultures and seeing that no matter how different we think we are, there is always something that's the same. So I like to say opposites are the same.
And you know what's interesting? That actually I'm obsessed with coffee and chocolate. So it's just meant to be.
Yes, yes, and I find that usually when I say to people, "Oh, I've got this social mission of chocolate, coffee, and conversation," they go, "Sign me up, I'm in." It's not a hard sell.
Yeah, no, it's just so easy. I get it.
I'd love to know that history about the flower in your hair because that sounds like it's be a fascinating story.
Look, the flower on my head is because I started dancing when I was 8 years old, and I still remember my first performance. It was cumbia, and cumbia is the traditional dance from Colombia.
Mhm.
And the dress of the cumbia is a very big, long skirt. It's beautiful, and usually the girl has a flower on her head. And for most of the Latin American dances, we usually have a flower on our head. And because I've been representing my culture for such a long time, I thought that this could be something that can, like, even if I'm on normal clothes, I always have a part of my culture with me. And I always have a part of my mosaic dress with me. And the flower is purple because the color of our business is purple and turquoise.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's nice to carry a piece of your culture with you, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. So if people are interested, I think I'm fascinated by what you do. People want to find out more about this and how they can have a cultural experience with Catalina. I'd love you to share with us that.
We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and it's Mosaic Experiences with so Mosaic is with S and K because we wanted to give it a touch of something different.
Hmm.
So Mosaic Experiences, yes, we are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And we're always open to work with groups and communities who want to connect more and who wants to have more fun and move more and sing more. Because we believe that communities that dance and sing together are stronger together.
Yeah, and that's something that we don't do much in Australia. We don't dance like other countries do. I have this story. My son went to India, and he was there with another couple of, with a young woman who was also from Australia, and they were staying with these Indian people, and they were went into an Indian village, and they did a dance for them, and then they turned to my son and this young woman and said, "Now it's your turn. What's the dance from your culture?" And they just looked at each other and was like, "We don't dance." So it's a completely, we just don't do it. And really, are we missing out on something big here, of something that we can learn from other cultures? Yeah.
I think it's very important. We do, sometimes we work with children as well, and they love it. So I think there is a point where, like, if as a child you don't do something enough, then it gets to a point that as a teen you don't keep doing it, and then as an adult you think it's too embarrassing. Because
Yeah.
a lot of the adults that I invite to dance, they need to have a drink to be able to feel confident to dance. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's actually like one of my main talents is to get someone who's never danced before to actually get up and move. Because I say that I can teach you how to dance in 5 minutes. Like it just takes me one song to teach someone how to dance. Because people have this idea that dancing is like what you see in the musicals and things like that. I don't even dance like that. You know, it's all about moving and feeling and having fun, and it's just about enjoying and don't think. That's the thing. We don't need to think when we dance.
Yeah. It doesn't like need to be like in those, I don't know, I watched a Jane Austen movie last week, and this dance is all choreographed, and it's like, no, it's not like that, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. Like I do teach steps because they make things simple and easy. Like when
Yeah.
you have steps to do to a song. But dancing is more about feeling the music and getting into it and just getting yourself moving and connecting with someone else.
Yeah. Would you have any advice that you would give, any ideas, advice that you give people as far as, you know, connecting, and about the importance of connecting with other cultures? What would you say?
I believe that it's a matter of being open minded, being open to explore, and more open to ask questions as opposed to just assume things from something that either someone told you or something that you read on the news or something like, for example, some people just meet one person from one background, and then like we tend to make all these assumptions about the culture, about
Hmm.
country, just because of one person. Or people read something on the news or they see something on a movie and we start making all these assumptions. So my advice would be don't make assumptions, be open to explore, and it's more about asking questions than giving your arguments or opinions.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful response, which is very much how I would see that too. Because I know that that if you have one bad experience with somebody, you can easily pick up that and kind of blame that whole ethnic group, that whole social group. And suddenly, instead of just being one person that you don't like, it's suddenly 500 million people. And how ridiculous is that?
Exactly. It's like, for example, if you watch those American movies, like the teen movies, so you would assume that every blonde is a bad person or is like it's going to bully someone else because she's a cheerleader, and then the quarterback has to be this hot guy that, or if you have glasses, then that means something about you. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the whole beauty between about the idea of chocolate and coffee breaks, is that we sit down with somebody and have a conversation and realize that, gee, how we saw a stereotype is not the way it is, and that actually just because I didn't like that person doesn't mean I'm not going to like you, because you're a different person and you've got lots of stories to tell. And I'd like to think even the person that we didn't like, that we'd be able to find something about them that we could like. I
Or
hope.
that we could learn from as well.
Certainly always something that we can learn from. Always. Yes. And so it's been a real pleasure chatting with you, Catalina. And I just love what you're doing, and your whole way of looking at culture and community and belonging is very much in alignment with what I'm doing with chocolate and coffee breaks and the social mission revolution and all the stuff that I do. So I can see that you and I can have lots of conversations that are going to go on for hours at other times off the podcast.
That sounds great. Yeah, I was actually very intrigued by what you do and very inspired, because it's great that there is someone like you out there putting us in the map. Because what I find is that not many people are interested on like putting people like from diverse backgrounds into podcasts and speaking opportunities. So I want to say congratulations and thank you. You're amazing.
Thank you, Catalina. It's a real passion of mine, and something that I hope will continue, whether it's a chocolate and coffee podcast or whatever I do. It's always about sharing with people from all places, all backgrounds. So it's something I really enjoy and appreciate.
That's
So
great.
thank you so much for being with me. I just so appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you, thank you. Gracias.
Gracias. And I probably pronounced that badly.
No, that was really good. That was really good.
Awesome. Okay. And so that's all for chocolate and coffee breaks today. And there'll be another coffee and chocolate breaks coming up real soon with another story from around the world. Thank you for joining me today on Chocolate and Coffee Breaks. To download our resource pack for your own chocolate and coffee break experiences and join our community, head on over to www.chocolateandcoffeebreaks.com. Join us again next time as we explore more stories that will touch your heart and reveal that opposites are the same. Meanwhile, share a chocolate, have a cuppa, enjoy a conversation, and change the world.